Well, let me be the beginner of the session and say this.
What are you going to say?
Yes, I agree. No, I was going to do it. All right. Okay. Yeah, cheers to everyone being alive.
I don't care
Cheers.
what they say. I'm in love with you. They
not
try to
true.
pull me away. They don't know the truth.
Try to keep me from fucking saying the truth, huh?
To close the vein keeps my heart from working.
Jesus Christ.
You cut me open and I keep bleeding. I keep bleeding.
Love?
Bleeding love.
Is it love that you're bleeding? Right.
I'm bleeding. I keep bleeding. Love.
So, today, the reason of our being together is to decipher happiness and what it means for us as a people.
And therefore, we're going to talk about playing golf.
Well, that's
Only
the
natural.
quickest day. It's the most happiest I've ever
The
been.
directest route.
It's the easiest way.
That's the most
And if you haven't played golf, you're totally missing out.
You've
on-
never been happy.
or sad.
Because
You're a
you've
fucking
never known the pain of not playing golf.
Right. It is so fucked up, right? Though, from a global perspective of, society's growing, right? Like people have, I don't know. Africa have never heard of golf. People have, Southeast Asia have never heard of golf. Nowadays they have because we're all controlled by the same Western sort of ideals. But do you know what I'm trying to say?
Well, it's also one of those things where it's like, it's kind of like a weird, esoteric little niche sport that happens to have been played by the people who ended up making a crap ton of money. And like running kind of
Right.
everything. So
Yeah.
it is like the very popular like elite sport.
Right. It's fucked up.
But it is like kind of a weird little niche sport in a way. Like
Yeah.
maybe.
Because comparatively, right, you don't have to fucking run up and down a basketball court, right, and play like to be a successful basketballer, right, it requires a lot different to be a successful golfer. But then again, if you're ingrained in your sports and you're playing in a little basketball league in your own like little town, whatever, you're playing basketball and you're doing it.
Golf is a very high, like, nuanced technique sport. Sort of like, I don't know, pool or like shooting. Like, there are things that you can be extremely good at and not be able to run away from anyone.
But what I think we should talk about more about is agreed that golf is an affluent sport, that it takes access and privilege to be able to play on a regular basis. But if you jump past that and just assume that you're someone who's able to play, it's a meditation.
It is.
It is
Absolutely.
an emotional, physical, maybe spiritual meditation of just agony and frustration and then like elation at when you do something well or you see someone else do something well that you care about. Like, it takes all of your focus, and that's what's addicting about it to me, as someone who in the last year was able to do it by choice, do it more than I had ever done it before. It was like
Totally.
just like when you've hit a shitty shot, you've already fucked up, and then you're stepping up to the ball again. You can't think about anything else in the world other than trying to hit that ball better than the last time you did it.
The like repeated pattern of having like really biffed a shot and you're just like mad and you're like, I'm still in this crap hole I dug for myself. And then really mentally having to be able to put that aside to focus on like, if I can put that aside, I'll have another good shot. And then you duff that one too, but
No, but from really thinking about it and seeing it as a meditation, right? It is a situation where you're putting yourself into to just work on yourself, right? You're looking at a little object, right? You're looking at a little golf ball, and you're looking at a way to interact with it better, right? You know, like from a and usually golf. Whenever you play golf, you're in the woods, right? You're in a lovely little surrounding where there's no cars or traffic, right? It's quiet,
yes.
right? You know, and you're connecting with nature. So from thinking of it as a sheer meditative standpoint, you are at one with nature and looking to improve yourself.
It's almost a shock the Japanese didn't invent golf.
Well, they probably would have been months away. You know, like they were months away from that breakthrough. The Scots just fucking smashed them.
Not today.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think
Scotland.
what came in the way between them and coming up with golf, but
Who, the Japanese?
Not a lot of grass.
Like
They're
what
pretty
else-
good at it now.
They've come up with other things that are better, which is like the
Better
garden.
than golf?
Well, no,
James?
just like the fucking gardens or whatever. It's like perfect. Like that's almost there. It's like, but then
It
you
would be-
need something to do.
It would be very fun to play golf in a Zen garden, like a huge Zen garden.
Exactly.
Right.
I think that's
I
what
don't
it is
know if
already,
you ever
though.
saw, there was a, you know, he had to bring a bigger production than ours into this, but, you know, there was a show called The Blue Zones,
Okay.
where this geezer who came up with labeling areas where people lived over
Yeah.
100, right? There are just these pockets in the world where people more regularly than not live to be over 100, right? And what motivates those people living to be over 100?
Golf.
No, it's not. It's that, you know, it could be argued that it's one of them, but
I mean, being active definitely adds.
Totally.
Like there's a county in Colorado, like up in the mountains, that has one of the longest life expectancies in the country.
right.
And part of it is it's a very wealthy county, so all those people can afford good medicine and like are
Of
probably well off and like know how to treat themselves right. But they're also like in a very
Good
active
golf courses.
in a
and
very
good
active
golf course
area.
memberships.
Reasonable
I think
memberships.
there is a
around
golf
there.
course out there, so you know.
So the reason that he boiled it down to was fundamentally it was exercise, diet, like a cultural society sort of thing,
And golf.
and good 3-par golf courses. Yeah, nice
Yes, the 3 pars that keep the stress low.
4 pars
and
will kill you.
like from an exercise perspective, it was the people in Japan that were constantly working in the gardens and kneeling down, right? You know, if you want to
Just
work on the garden,
getting their
you know,
squats
you
in.
getting their squats in, right? If you want to work in the garden, you have to be down here, you know. And you're doing this all day. You're doing this 6 times a day. That actually makes you fucking live longer. Then from a health perspective, it's what you eat. You know, like what you're eating is the biggest part of it. And from the areas that he was looking at,
Or what you don't eat.
or what you don't, exactly. It's being aware of the stuff that you're eating that you're not eating, and especially nowadays in the fucking like the desire not to focus on like healthy stuff, right?
I think that people should tune into our show to know how to live their lives better.
It's true. Play more
And
golf.
healthier.
Well, why else would they be tuning in? we're telling them literally everything about how to be the perfect Homo
Just
sapien.
have a bunch of money. So you can afford
Well,
healthcare and golf.
No, that's season 2. We gotta get that. Yeah.
Gotta get him in with the homeopathic stuff.
Right. But if you're not playing golf, you're fucking losing.
But thinking of golf as just like a meditative walk around, like, because it is moments of like deep, intense focus. And then you can kind of be like, then you kind of have a moment of where, like, I have to let go of, like, the result that just happened.
And start drinking.
And then walk my way there, enjoy the grass and the trees, and line up another one.
It's so funny, like, see European golf, like, where I come from in Ireland, like,
Yeah.
nobody drives the carts.
Yeah.
Only fucking old fogies that can't fucking walk that are over, like, 86.
And Americans love cars. They're like, it's a
Yeah,
tiny
hell
car.
yeah, I'm going around here. I'm fucking
Let's
some beer around here.
How do you carry all 20 beers with
How
you?
do you
if
carry
you're not-
20
if
cold
you're
beers
not
around
try-
you?
Yeah.
Right.
That's what the
Enjoy
caddy's
it.
for. You
No.
carry your own clubs.
No.
The caddy carries the beers.
But, like, let's not get this fucking twisted. Like, everybody that's going on an Irish golf course, right? They've got their 6 beers in their bag, right? You know,
It's in the bag.
It's in the bag. Like,
It's in the bag.
They know what they're
exercise.
doing. Like, you know, it's not like totally indifferent of what's happening now. But
They know how to
certainly
have a good
being
time.
carted around by either a gasoline or electric powered golf cart is not how they envisage golf.
It's funny
Like,
because it does take a lot of the, like, physical activity out of the sport. It takes a lot of the sport out of the sport. But, like,
right, absolutely.
because the point scoring is entirely unrelated to how you walk. It just, like, you can be like, oh, I'm just going to take a cart. And you're like,
Right.
well, I guess you're still playing the exact same
No,
game.
like it was so funny. Like so there was this fucking study that came out, and it was like, right, golfers live the longest. Golfers live. Anybody that plays golf, they usually live to about 85, right?
Yeah.
But this
Well, that's
this
gonna
this
feed
this
into
this
the
equation
healthcare
was
argument.
only measured on people that
Europe?
walk
Yeah.
the golf course, right? You know, because they're actually exercising, right?
Yeah.
So everyone's
Walking
playing
like-
golf in the fucking cart. It's like, hey, I'm living forever. I'm living forever, man.
live longer. Yeah,
I need more Miller Lite. I need more Miller Lite, right? I'm doing it right. Am I doing it right?
Where's the snack cart?
We're gonna be here forever doing this.
Where's the snack cart quickly? I need to live longer. But the reality of it is that the people that were measured on were walking the golf course.
Yeah.
They were.
Well,
they were.
I think it also feeds into Dash's earlier proposition. Like, it's easy to
Live longer when you're wealthy.
make the observation that people who can play golf will live longer because they have access to better health care.
right.
That's a baseline
But that's
sort
almost
of.
that's almost like
Yeah.
an access to happiness, right? I feel
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah, I like
Yes,
definitely,
absolutely.
definitely a stress level. I think there's something where, like, if you're a certain poverty level, it, like, cuts into your lifespan just because of the stress.
yeah.
Just grim.
What really fucking annoys me, right, is the whole globe. Like, and I'm opening a massive can of worms here when I'm saying this, but see this planet that we live on, right? Every avenue, every sort of area of it needs to be lived on. There needs to be people that are working on it, right, to appreciate every angle of it. So if we all only lived in the snow, you know, we wouldn't appreciate the other side, and we would only go there for like rudimentary thing. But the beauty of it is through tourism and travel, and really just getting on a fucking airplane and just flying wherever the fuck you want to, and living a whole different culture, has made that so easy.
Yeah.
But we need those other places, right? You know, we need those warm places where everybody that lives in the snow goes to, but then comes back to
But for their
for the
from their
tourism.
perspective, they're not doing it to meet that goal. They're doing it from the goal that anyone would have for the love of where they came from. So it's like, yeah, ancestrally, you wound up in Iceland, or you wound up in
Right.
Jamaica, or
Right.
you wound up in some island in Southeast Asia.
Right.
But like at that point, you're just like, this is where I come from. I love this place.
Right.
And I'm gonna try and live here.
Yeah, well, all of your
Right.
culture
But,
is formed
yeah.
around it, so then
So-
everything else is alien.
And to
And-
bring to, and
And every
tourism.
single one of those places should have a little golf course for me to be able to go there and play golf.
But of course.
I actually love looking at maps, the Google Maps, right? And you look down, you're like, oh, there's a golf course.
So James came up with this idea while we were golfing, or maybe before, but you told it to me while we were golfing, and I loved it, which was basically, like in Star Wars, there's planets that are entirely cities, right? And he was like, what if there was a world that was just all golf course?
Like a world, like a golf
The natural
world.
topography is just short grass.
Short grass,
with like
patches
little,
of trees.
little pits of sand in certain places.
And like animals that burrow like a single hole and then eat the grass really short around that hole.
All they do is make the golf course more perfect, right?
It's just
These little beings.
just golf course
So-
world. I'd love it.
But the step beyond that observation was that, did you watch Dragon Ball Z as a kid?
No, I didn't.
So like, the planet is called Namek, which is the planet that Piccolo is from.
Okay.
It looks like a golf course. Like that's like the thing. It's short grass and like little like hillsides and oceans and stuff. And then that planet gets fucking destroyed in a fucking like battle between
In a
Goku
hole.
and Frieza.
Was it just like a hole in one
It's like
shot?
they didn't play golf, but that's the difference is they didn't play golf there. That's just what it looked like. It looked like the planet that we're imagining, but yes, imagine just so the other idea, I don't know if I had this myself or with other people, was that imagine a future where the human society or whatever is able to go to many other planets in the galaxy or other galaxies.
Probably just this one, but yeah.
So, but imagine that kind of society would have to have the wealth desperation that our current society has. And therefore, there would be a planet that was just a golf course. Like you only people who could afford to go to this planet to play golf would get to go there, and it would just be the most insane fucking golf course ever. You would be playing with like mech suits over like volcanoes, like playing with like low gravity levels where the ball like flies halfway around the planet before it lands on the potential fairway. And
So I
stuff
think
like
even
that.
even sooner than other planets, like one of my big dreams is that humanity will get out into space, get to the asteroid belt, snatch up a bunch of asteroids, mine them, like smelt them, turn them into like basically halo rings, right? Like centrifuge rings that give you
I hear
artificial
you, brother.
gravity. But like we'll have just so many of them because we'll have mastered the system. We'll just churn them out for fun.
Right, I'm going to be honest here, Dan. You've rushed off into a whole different.
But I was following.
We're getting back
I
to
was
golf.
right
Don't
there
worry.
with him.
Don't worry.
I
We're
was
getting
right
back to
there with
golf.
him.
So these worlds.
You rushed off into judging my friend Dash.
Cha-cha!
He was going somewhere we can all understand.
We all come together.
All right, so
we can all be the same.
we make these giant space colonies. They have gravity. They're pretty Earth-like.
Of course.
You have control of the atmosphere, right? So you can make it. You
Obviously.
can make it desert. You can make it beach. You can make it snowy.
Make it.
You're just gonna make a bunch of different things, and like one of them, I think would be fun to be like Monaco, just a race course around it. But also another one should absolutely just
Like
be
whole
golf
planets. You're talking about creating whole planets.
Not a whole planet. Like 12 miles in diameter type
The
thing.
moons of Titan.
But the,
Or the moons of Jupiter. One of them's named Titan.
Yeah, I mean, yes, but
so
not wrong.
you know, Saturn, like from layman's terms, right? You know, the rings of Saturn, they're right.
No, I was thinking if Titan was around Saturn. Anyway, yeah.
Right. Well, what
It might be.
I don't know. You were talking about. For my understanding, around the planet, you make this.
Smaller. So.
But are you trying to converting moons of our nearby planets into
No.
parks for entertainment?
So
or...
like the way to like start this initially is so you'd be taking asteroids just because it's much easier to steal an asteroid than it is to launch something into space. But like the way you'd start it is you just make two habitation modules and you connect with a rope and you spin them, right? So they're spinning and each one is getting like centrifugal force out. right?
Do you understand?
You're making fake gravity, and if you make them wide enough, you don't get like Coriolis effect, where when you turn around, you like get dizzy and fall. And like we currently have the technology, the material science technology, not the rest of the technology, to like kind of make rings that are very big, and you spin them at like 1 rotation a minute, and they create artificial, like a sensation of gravity.
But are they orbiting another planet?
No,
Planet?
yes, they would orbit the Earth like
Or Saturn?
the moon orbits the Earth,
Okay.
or like a satellite
And then
orbits
you
the
make
Earth.
like a race course on there.
You're making
Yeah,
me
you do
dizzy
whatever you
just
want.
talking about this. I might vomit.
Try not to.
Okay.
I was thinking about what you were saying earlier, and I thought I knew what you were saying, and then I was like, let me explain it. And then...
And then I started to grab your titties.
And then it started
then it
making a
all
lot
just
more
fucking
sense.
fell away.
And I feel like... So essentially...
I mean, we can follow up on this if you want. I
I'm like, I understand whenever things get moving around around a thing,
Yeah.
and they're spinning it like it's like the bird in the cage, right? You've seen that where there's a picture of a bird in a cage, and you spin it quick enough, you see both
This is
sides.
exactly
No.
why I thought we
It's
should
more-
talk about golf.
No, it's more like
Because
those.
if we
It's
talk
more like
about
those
golf,
pits
then
where
it-
someone takes a motorcycle and drives on the side
Right,
of the
yeah,
pit.
totally right. Totally,
It's
the same-
basically that.
right. A level of pushing physics to the unimaginable.
Which the fun thing you can do in one of these space stations is you can
Which-
take a motorcycle and drive the other direction, and if you go the same pace that the ring is spinning on the motorcycle, you'll just start to float.
Which is also what a golfer does. They take physics to a level unimaginable when they
Unbelievable.
drive
Come off
the
to the
golf
side.
ball like I do.
Into
out of the fucking park.
into the lake.
Yeah.
No, but isn't this a funny little moment to reflect that whatever you guys have been fucking saying right now is because we started talking about golf.
Right, it is a literal beginning
Just an
domino
explosion.
effect. A domino effect, and at the beginning of that domino was golf.
The concept of the
Hitting a
sport
ball.
of golf just expands the human mind
It does.
into outer space.
Our limits.
It usually goes to outer
unlimited.
space because that's how far I can drive the fucking golf ball.
I've driven about 6 down there, but I'm not sure if I can do a 7th.
Hit the International Space Station once. They weren't happy
Yeah,
about that.
they're saying stop sending all those fucking golf balls out there.
Dude.
You're hitting them out of the park.
Dude, stop burning Pro V1s instead of putting it into outer space,
Right,
bro.
you're on the market projection for
depleting the
Pro
American
V1s.
economy.
But really,
You gotta keep them there.
from a golf perspective, right? Do you think you're getting better at golf?
No.
I think I'd have to play more consistently and really get better at the not getting frustrated when I play shitty part.
Right.
Because that brings me down so fast.
And from the out of worldly, expansion, how important is it that golf really has brought us this far?
Well, I thought you were going to ask something else there. Why are you just talking to Dash? Why do you look at Dash every time you ask a question and not me?
Purposely trying to keep it more focused?
And Dash needs more focus than me.
Not at all. Not at all.
Oh, okay.
Get him. Get him.
But I think you should
We're all
ask-
talking to each other.
I think you should also ask me why I'm not getting better at golf.
James, why are you not getting better at golf?
I don't know. I wish I knew. I would like to know.
Please, anyone tell me.
No. I think I'm very happy with golfing at the level that I am. I don't need to be at another level. No.
If you enjoy
The
the
feeling
golf,
that you get
the
from
happiness,
hitting
the happiness.
the feeling that you get from hitting a golf ball well is really something.
Deeply satisfying.
Really just takes you to another planet.
You're
doesn't
like,
it?
I
Like
do
Jupiter
have
or
it.
Mars.
And then the next hits you don't, and you're like, where did it go?
Yes.
Why, Fates, have you abandoned me?
I thought you were looking after me all these years.
But obviously not. I just shanked it.
Yes. I'll tell you a story about golf for me. I went to England recently. What was our timing right now?
25.
You got time for this? Went to England on a vacay, but there was a low point in the vacay where I had nothing to do. So I took myself to a golf course to go golfing by myself. Rented clubs.
Legendary.
It was just the cheapest golf course in North England, or North London, England. Anyway, I'm playing like shit immediately, like through the whole golf course. Like, well, this is a waste of time. I'm having fun walking around, but I'm terrible at golf. And I get to this one hole. There's a guy sitting there. He has bicycled to this tee box, just him, to smoke weed. Like he has a joint of weed, and that's the only reason he's there, is because like he is bicycled.
There's
to
this one
location.
bicycle path that leads the
Not
golf
dressed
course.
in golf attire.
Wow.
He's like a. I just
No,
coughed.
no, I don't. Let it go out, man.
I just
let
coughed
it over. Like, it's okay. It's done.
I coughed the cigarette. I coughed the candle out of existence. But
The candle is done.
so he's sitting there at this tee box, and he watched me like finish up on the previous hole, but he's also sitting on the tee box of the next hole, which is how golf courses usually go. So I like struck up a conversation with him, like, yeah, it's a beautiful day or whatever, and then I hit this shot.
Wait, but this guy's like just like on a bicycle.
He's on a bicycle.
Right, like
He's not a golfer.
right.
He's just.
So this golf course shares a public path with a public cycle course. Bicycle
No, he
course.
might have
No,
just
I-
biked. I think it sounds like he just biked on.
All I'm
No,
gonna say.
I
All
think
I'm gonna
it's
say
a-
is. All I'm gonna say is.
I think he's a
If
relatively.
if I was teeing off like at a hole, right, like at a fucking golf course, right, I'm
Real
just about to tee
biker.
off, and there's just a guy
no,
sitting there with a bicycle, I'd be like, "You alright, man? You know, like, what the fuck are you?"
Well,
doing
I don't
here?"
think he was all right either. Like he had
So-
come out here for this purpose to smoke weed on the golf course.
But there was
Like, it was like it wasn't a private. It was a very cheap like state-owned golf course. It was a park golf course.
Okay, so it was close to
The riffraff.
the river.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like
But he was it was the only person I saw out there that day. Like I
Right,
had
it
the
was other
place to
people.
myself. It was a Tuesday or Wednesday, and so
This guy was
what
there.
happens is I tee off on this tee box. It's a par 3, and like you can see, it's one of the ones where you can see the green from where you're hitting,
Beautiful.
and you're hitting towards it. And I hit this shot, and I thought I shanked it like to the left over the trees, but then I saw like a glint, like coming back towards the green. I was like, "Oh shit!" And but I like had no one, and so I went out there. My ball, I have a picture of it. I'll show it to you guys later. It was 3 balls from the hole.
Where it stopped or where it had
Where
landed?
it stopped. It ended up even with the hole, and like 3 balls to the
And
hole.
she's still bogeying.
triple bogey.
No, that was my only thing other than probably less. Like I didn't get anything up. I don't think I got a par that day. I might have gotten a par like earlier, but like that was a birdie because
Yeah.
it was a par 3.
Never
But
parted.
No
it
way
was
you
right
put-
there.
No way you
and
putted that.
when I saw. Yes, I did putt that.
of course.
There was no one there with me. I had to putt it. But anyway, it makes me sad.
You had to get that done yourself.
Anyway, it was like, well, my gut reaction was like, God damn, I'm happy I didn't fucking hole in one this shit because that would have been
You'd never-
That guy, the guy on the
That would've been
bicycle,
stupid.
the guy on the bicycle would probably
I-
be here right now.
No.
If you did actually hold on one, like, you know, he would be following you.
So after I finished,
There's a guy on a bicycle.
I got all the
beside
way.
him.
I got all the way to the green. I tapped the ball in, and I went back all the way to the front of the hole to show this guy the picture because he was there.
The guy on the
when I
bicycle.
did it.
Someone needs
I'm like,
to know.
this is my closest to the fucking hole. Like,
And was he like? And was he
anyway,
like,
that's the story.
And was
That's
he
the
like?
whole
And
story.
was he like?
Yeah. It's like, nice job, man. Run high.
Like, I don't understand how golf works. I don't see what the point is.
What was that man's name?
Englishman number 4.
I thought it was number 3.
The
I thought it
airport
was
must
gonna
have
be
been very empty when James arrived.
But I don't know why. I told this story because it looked like you guys needed this story about golf and how
We did. We were on the
amazing I
break.
felt.
Kill us.
So the one thing
Kill us.
that everybody wants is kill us.
Kill us.
Gillis?
Kill us?
Summers?
Kill us.
Kill us.
Gillis. Do it.
Farewell.
Golf.